Good evening, this is Quintus Curtius, and welcome back to the podcast. And I decided to make a special podcast here just to do something that is always a great pleasure of mine, and hopefully of yours also, and that is to read the tweets of my good friend, the G Manifesto, Michael Porfirio. And it ties into my idea that we just have to have fun in life. You have to have fun. If you don't have a sense of humor, if you can't laugh at the world and at yourself, what the hell good is anything? And there's so many uptight dorks out there on Twitter with their tweeting about their soy shipping and their personal branding and their various assorted pudwackery, that we have to appreciate a true original when we see one. And that's one of the things that I recognized immediately with the G Manifesto's tweets, and I've tried to share that knowledge here with the world. And before I get into reading the tweets here and commenting on them, because who the hell needs poetry readings if you can read the G Manifesto's tweets? What the hell purpose would poetry readings be? But anyway, before I get into that, I want to just make a movie recommendation here. I was talking to Mike just a couple days ago, and he recommended a great movie to me, which I saw. And it's an old Matt Dillon movie from 1979. Great movie. Over the Edge. Over the Edge. There is a movie called Over the Top. I think it's a Stallone movie from the 80s, but this is called Over the Edge. And it's a movie about juvenile delinquency in the late 70s. May not be for everybody's taste. It kind of grows on you. You can't just see it once. You have to see it a few times. I'm going to see it again because there's some great scenes in there. Now, I don't know if it's just shared experiences or a generational thing or what, but some of this stuff really is a trip down memory lane. Anyway, just wanted to mention that. All right, so now let's move into our readings here of my man, the G Manifesto's tweets. And I'm going to start with most recent and just work my way down his tweets. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep it together here as much as I can, but it's just, the minute this one popped up. All right, this is a great one of my favorites, back from March of last year. And it's got a picture of a monkey reclining on a vine with a coconut or a fruit in his hand. Every day after my open ocean swim, I do some astral travel. Many times I do it in the high branches that I control. When I wake up, I throw coconuts at the heads of weesh dudes that come to my village by the sea. And that's it. Astral monkey. Oh, it's great. It's great. And you gotta, and this is, I think, the what kicked off the whole throwing coconuts at the heads of weesh dudes. And you really have to be doing that in life. If you're not throwing coconuts figuratively, metaphorically, or whatever at the heads of weesh dudes, you are not. You're not doing what you're required to do. All right, here we go. Music festivals are so weesh. So many weesh dudes who eat soy and swoop dudes and only got tattoos and grew beards after it was safe to do so. I make my own, quote, music when I bounce coconuts off the heads of weesh dudes in my village by the sea. The original music festivals. There's a picture of monkeys throwing coconuts at some figure with like a red head. I don't know what it is. I don't know where he gets these illustrations, where they're just classic. And that illustrates a good an important point. One of the things I think, to better understand these tweets, you have to understand, you need to see a few Matt Dillon movies. I was talking to Mikey about this. I was like, you know what, man? I think you were a lot like Matt Dillon when you were a kid. I can just see that. And he's like, yeah, maybe not. Kind of sort of a vague answer. But if you if you can hear Matt Dillon's voice in these tweets, you'll have a better way of understanding them. Matt Dillon, maybe Kevin Dillon, if you can't visualize that. But Matt Dillon, I think, is better. Matt Dillon's better here. All right, here we go. So, making music by bouncing coconuts off the heads of weesh dudes. All right, here's one from 34 minutes ago. I basically only wear custom suits out in the open ocean these days. Otherwise, shirt off with machete or two. And there's a picture of a tiger floating on a barrel looking at a school of fish. Great surrealistic illustration there. All right. All right, here we go. Here's good. Chimp strength. And as you know, chimp strength is one of our motifs that we emphasize in these tweets. Chimp strength is here. Okay, it says here, weesh restaurant manager dude. Sir, you cannot smoke in here. And can you please put on a shirt? This is a fine dining establishment. Me. Stop talking. And fuck off. And there's there's a chimp there puffing away on his cigarette. And it's just great. All right, here we go. 1 hour ago. Because of deep soy, smoking ban, big pharma, big tech, my prediction for future is that we will become more like baboons, where men top of the world will be commanding troops of 500,000 plus beautiful girls around the world, as opposed to current 5,100 troop management. And there's a whole picture of a whole just herd or I don't know what the right word is, but a whole tribe of baboons here moving across the landscape. Oh man. Oh, here we go. And listen, this guy here is someone that you should also follow. This guy's name is Ben Westgate. His Twitter handle is ANSALHAR, Ben Westgate, and he's really mastered the tweet style that I like to talk about and laugh about here, and he's really become a real master at it. So check out some of his tweets. I'm going to read one right now. I would give do the big three lifts as actionable advice. But landlocked millennial guys will just run off and do 3+ big dudes named Liftrasir instead. And swoop guys named Gerald Besh and Nick Liffa and get brunch at Applebee's with soy in it. Millennials are so weesh. And good one, but here's a better one of his that the G Manifesto retweeted. Electric scooter, more like electric soiter. Only ever see dudes in skinny jeans who swoop other dudes on these, and the batteries are filled with toxic chemicals. Fuck that shit. Get a real war chariot or walk barefoot to feel the energy and power of the earth and universe. And there's a picture of an Assyrian chariot there, a guy drawing down a bow on a foot soldier. Great stuff here. Great stuff. All right. Let me keep going. Keep going down the timeline. All right, here we go. If it's someone born in the 70s versus a soy-lennial, just fucking bet against the soy-lennial. Life is really that easy. No one talks about this or is delivering the real actionable advice like this. And there's a picture of a guy punching another dude in the face and getting the point across. All right. I refuse to look up who won the Soiper Bowl. I refuse to look up who won the Soiper Bowl, but a business partner told me. saw this Tom Grady guy. Tom Grady with a G. Guy was quarterback. Looked it up. I admit this. Saw he is not a millennial. My question is, do the soy millennials win anything? Oh man. Oh god. You know what's great about this one is the shifting here between different subjects. You got Soyper Bowl, Soylenials, Tom Grady with his G. Oh god. Here we go. Important stuff. Everyone yapping about how they got so much work done instead of watching Soyper Bowl. I just swooped a beautiful Brazilian model girl. Most would not be honest enough to admit something like this. Heavy life force and heavenly glory in my village by the sea. And there's a picture of a model girl. Actually does look like a brasileira. And believe me when I say that he really does do this. Not invented, real. Believe me, it's real. All right, so let's keep going here. Keep going. Got to keep moving. Here we go. And this is Ben Westgate here responding to one of my tweets, ripping into the whole drop shipping culture on Twitter. Drop shipping? More like drop soying. I do not even know what this shit really even is. And I refuse to look it up. I only care about importing real licorice from Holland. The original drop shipping. Oh, here's a great one. A nice, brief one from February 3rd. This is one of the G-Man's tweets. Is most people have zero personality. And what more can you say to that? What more can you say to that? All right. Here's one from February 3rd. Most guys, gotta put guys is always gonna be in quotes. Most guys' skeletal systems are completely fucked up. And you know, I remember there was one that he did maybe last year or a year or two ago, and it had a whole bunch of jellyfish on the beach. And basically, it was like most guys have zero bone density, and you got these blobs just scattered all over the beach. It was great, fucking funny as shit. All right, here we go. Here we go. Gotta find some good ones here. This is from October 15th. He retweeted this. Was from October 15th, 2017. He says, I eat extremely healthy, but sometimes I have candy. And when I say candy, I mean chunks of game meats. The original candy. And there's a picture. The picture makes it. You've got some prehistoric men here just attacking a mastodon trapped in a bog or something. Oh man. Oh god. I have very quietly swooped a ton of beautiful Kalmyk girls lately. Kalmyk model girls lately. Most guys do not even know shit about this. Most guys are just eating soy, swooping dudes, and drinking out of plastic, which gives most guys estrogen. Most guys are weesh. I also grow my own basil. All right. Here we go. Let's keep going here. I've got a few good ones here, too, that he retweeted, but I don't know if I want to read my own. Well, here's a good one. I did this one back on, actually, yesterday. I sometimes wonder if these guys that tweet motivational feel-good life advice on Twitter all day even have a fucking soul. They all sound like soulless fucking robots. Never a joke, never angry passion, never cursing, just recycled life advice. Inhuman. And it really is inhuman. I was listening to one of these soy millennials on some it was either a podcast or a Periscope, soy scope or whatever you want to call it. And everything was up talking, twitching, moving his head around, bouncing around, this egocentric, narcissistic bullshit. And, I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to listen to that. Convey information or shut up. All right. Let's keep going here. Keep going. Let's see what we get here. We got a lot of good ones here. All right. Everyone constantly yapping about how we are living in a simulation these days. I honestly do not even know what the fuck that even means, and I refuse to look it up. I do know that most guys are... you know what is coming. I do know that most guys are living in a soy emulation, though. No one is even talking about this, except us. All right. Instagram photographers, this is from February 2nd. Instagram photographers, more like soytographers. These motherfuckers take 700 photos to get one good one. Then they Photoshop the shit out of it. Get a real Polaroid camera and some real film and see actual beauty. And I do not even know what Photoshop even is. Great stuff. All right. If there is, from February 2nd, if there is one thing you can always count on in life is that if you put a person on a jet ski, he or she will act like an asshole and a complete idiot. But no one talks about this. But it had to be addressed. Oh, God. Gotta love it. All right. Fuck commercial. This is from October 24th, 2018. Fuck commercial sponges. That shit is all synthetic chemicals, estrogen, and soy. I free dive for my own natural sponges in my village by the sea. Most do not understand the virtue of hygiene. Millennial guys are just are just getting high with a guy named Gene instead. Painting. The last word is just painting. This is like a guy reaching for an oar, So you get the idea, you get the picture. And let's just kind of keep cruising here through the Twitter timeline and see what other good things most guys, from February 1st, most guys have zero bone density. They eat too much soy. I often have intelligent conversations with sea turtles about bone density in my village by the sea. A sea turtle saved me from drowning once. They show up when I need them most. I love them. I love them. Most would not admit this. And then the very next one is, most people do not know shit about treetop positioning. No one even talks about this. And there's a picture of a leopard perched in the high branches, commanding the high branches, because you really do have to command the high branches in life, because once you can get high above the fray, you can kind of get a better perspective, and you can rain down fire and destruction from that vantage point. But let's keep moving here. Let's keep going. All right. Like this, and also put strategically. Zippo lighters everywhere, organic American grown smokes everywhere, machete rack, sledgehammer rack, baseball bat rack, 4+ surfboard racks, condoms everywhere, thigh-high stockings for girls, all colors, real oils, bamboo reeds. And this was a response to someone else's tweet called Ruby Indigo Child. And this person is talking about scattered around my house are various objects in strategic positions. And then so Mike is talking about what he has in his house. All right. So you get the idea, you get the picture. So let's keep rolling here. All right. Keep moving. Here's a great one here from January 31st. It says, "Why the fuck is everyone so unhappy?" And there's a picture of a beach there with sunset. And, this is really a great point. Why the hell is everybody so full of angst and, emotional turbulence? And I think the answer lies in the fact that we live in a very atomized, dislocated type of social situation right now. Things are tough for people, and so you've got to try to extract what you can out of life, extract the good things out of life, and that really is the message. That should be the message that you're getting out of all these tweets. I do this for a reason. There's a reason behind all this. I like to have fun with it, but there's sort of a superseding message in all these tweets that you have to kind of enjoy the things in life that you can experience directly through your senses. Because if you can't do that, then what the hell good is anything? Here we go. 15 June 2018. The biggest problem with these millennials is you give them actionable advice, like eating tons of fresh fish. Then these millennial guys turn around and try to swoop a freshman Jewish guy named Frischman and eat a soy brunch with him. Not a good way to go through life. Oh man, insane. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. All right. So, 19 September 2018. I eat extremely healthy, but sometimes I have hot pockets. And when I say hot pockets, in quotes, I really mean fresh fish that I catch in my village by the sea and I stuff with shellfish and fresh herbs. The original Hot Pockets. This is a painting of one of those moments. And he says, it's a still life of just a bunch of fish and crabs just on plates. Oh man, priceless. Gotta love it. I don't really understand how people can not think this is funny. I don't know. Maybe there's some that just don't, but I don't see how you can not think that. Here we go. Important point here from 5 March 2018. Mike says, the more you conform, the less likely you are to be truly interesting. Most people will never understand something like this. Great point. Very true point. And the artwork here in this tweet is very good. You've got a Japanese print from the Edo era, and you've got two guys manning a boat trying to keep it afloat here in the roiling, surging waves. And isn't that so true? You have to be original. You have to do your own thing. John L. Sullivan, here we go. May 14th, 2018. John L. Sullivan smoked heavy, boozed heavy, knocked people the fuck out, swooped mass amounts of beautiful girls, drank whiskey between rounds, custom suits, game meats, fresh fish, oils. He did not be a weesh, non-smoker, non-drinker. Text in the gym, take selfies, eat soy, Instagram, millennial. That's true. John L. Sullivan, an original old-school boxer, and you ought to read up on. I took his advice. I read up. This guy was a badass. This guy was one of the first major boxing celebrities, and this guy was fearsome. They just don't make him like this anymore. They really don't. And that's something important to remember here. All right, I'm going to do a few more, and I think that will wrap it up here because I don't want to go on too long. Everything good gets stale after a certain point. From 26 December 2017, a man should never be judged by the company he keeps at the peak of his success, but by his ability to not forget those who helped him when his need was greatest. Gratitude. Most people will never understand this. And there's a picture here of a guy surfing, just going under a tube here. And maybe that's the best way to end this podcast on the subject of gratitude. Let me reread that. A man should never be judged by the company he keeps at the peak of his success, but by his ability to not forget those who helped him when his need was greatest. Gratitude. Most people will never understand this. And on that note of gratitude, I will say thank you to the G Manifesto. Thank you for writing these great tweets that have given, at least me anyway, so much enjoyment and mirthful laughter. So on that note, I will say game meats, natural oils, deep ocean swims, bone density, machetes, Zippo lighter, custom suits, swooping mass amounts of beautiful girls, and villages by the sea. And really when you slice and dice everything, what more can you really try to get out of life besides wisdom? I think we need to include that there in the picture. But, gotta kind of, one man can't do everything. So you gotta kind of interpret that as being understood there in the mix. So anyway, that is my podcast here on my latest G Manifesto tweet readings. Who needs poetry when you've got G Manifesto tweet readings? So until next time, this is Quintus Curtius. Good night.